Sports in Egypt is live on your radio. This is Empire Radio 102.1 FM Friday edition of the show. Today, 7th day in the month of November, 2025. So I get to God for the gift of life. We are right here to tell you about everything happening in the ever exciting, ever dynamic, and sometimes controversial world of sport. Going through all of these stories in bits and in pieces this morning. Tiptoeing through the major stories making the rounds. Big stories coming through on the show just at the back of the latest actions in the UEFA Champions League and also the Europa League and also the Conference League. All of the updates coming through from right there. But starting with us coming through from the home front on the show. This one taking a look at the Super Eagles of Nigeria and preparations ahead of the next matches. That's talking about the FIFA World Cup African playoffs that will be involving the Super Eagles of Nigeria and also at the Gabonese side. And if we are able to make it through that level, I will go on to face either of DR Congo or Cameroon. Yesterday, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was named as part of the 27-man squad that will be facing playing against Nigeria. All length in glove right now. We are open that the list for the players who will be perusing that particular game for the Super Eagles of Nigeria will also be released at least by the end of this day, because it's been said by a itinerary that was released earlier that the camp of the Super Eagles is going to be opened from 9th of this month, which is definitely this weekend ahead of the double header fixtures. You call it not just a fixture right about now. We'll still be talking about other sports on the home front on the show. This one talking about the Nigerian Premier Football League. A bit of actions went down in the match day 11 yesterday where Bendel Insurance were able to hold on to Rivers United in a 0-0 draw at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium right there in Benin City, and also Nasarawa United right there in Lafia thumped the defending champions, the Remo Stars, 2-1, make that two back-to-back losses for the defending champions of the MPFL. What's going wrong with the Remo Bay side right there? It's left to be seen, and on record it's been said that the head coach of the squad, Daniel Gmodede, is far away in Abuja taking a refresher course. All of this and many more we'll be taking a look at in the course of the show this morning. AYODEJI AJIBOYE is my name. Absolute honor to be your host on the show, taking you through all of the bits and pieces of the stories making the rounds. So that you're a sports person, you're just someone who loves to love the game, or you're an athlete yourself, this is the right place for you to be, because the early bird has gone around the world to catch this cause, and I am more than willing to serve them to you fast, without a fact, and I'll be making this compact for listening pleasure. In the meantime, you can also keep track of these updates and more by following us across all social media platforms. We are currently live on our Facebook fan page at iImpact Radio 102.1 FM and also on YouTube at iImpact 102.1 FM. To the switch of the back of the net right about now, we'll be getting the show on the road with Super Eagles coach Eric Sekutele believing that a successful outing at the crucial 2026 World Cup playoffs coming up next week will drive his ambition to win the 2025 AFCON, which will be held in Morocco between December this year and January 2026. Chile didn't mince words about his ambition to win the upcoming AFCON, but is also aware that his ambition could be derailed if the country fails to advance to the intercontinental playoffs and keep their hopes of qualifying for the World Cup alive. In the campaign that saw them fail to win any of the opening 4 matches, the Super Eagles definitely missed out on the automatic ticket to the World Cup and definitely will be facing a longer journey to reaching the tournament built for USA, Canada, and Mexico next year. Still taking more thoughts coming through from the home front on the show this morning. As regards in the Super Eagles of Nigeria, yesterday the goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali is also optimistic about Nigeria's chances of winning the 2025 African Cup of Nations. Nothing that the fans' expectations are not just for the team to compete but to bring the trophy home. The 2025 AFCON will play in Morocco from later this year, that's from December 21. And Nwabali, who has been having a breakthrough in the national team as one of the Nigerian startup performers at the 2023 edition of the tournament in Ivory Coast, has said the team has learned valuable lessons from their run to the final last year, saying AFCON is one of the biggest tournaments in the world and not just in Africa. I mentioned this while featuring on a popular television show earlier this week. And away from that, right now, let's go talk about the female side. I was talking about the Super Falcons of Nigeria, where Chiamaka Nnadozie has been named amongst the players for the FIFA Best Awards. Yes, definitely, she made the cut for the FIFA Best Goalkeeper Award in the shortlist that was released from yesterday. No men's footballer made the cut, but of course, Chiamaka Nnadozie definitely having a run for that particular. Don't forget that sometimes times last month. She was also being nominated for the IFFHS Awards, another award that she is in the run-up for before the end of this year, 2025. The Super Falcons goalkeeper being shortlisted for the prestigious 2025 the Best FIFA Women's Goalkeeper Award, marking yet another milestone in what has been an outstanding year for the Nigerian women's number one. FIFA officially confirmed the launch of the global voting process for the Best FIFA Football Awards 2025 on Thursday, which is yesterday, with fans across the world now able to select the standard players, coaches, and goalkeepers of the year via the official FIFA application. It's been said that Nadozie finds herself among the elite of cast of goalkeeping talent, which includes Anne Katzenberger of Germany, Akata Cole of Spain, Christian Endler of Chile, Anna Amphin of England, Anna Morehouse of England, and also Fallon Tullis-Joyce of United States of America. A field that highlights the level of competition for the world's top global goalkeeping honor in the women's category right there. She is the reigning African Goalkeeper of the Year, which has earned that nomination of the back of the remarkable 2024-2025 campaign right there in France, where she definitely started for her team, Paris FC, making that historic triumph with the Coupe de France Feminine, their first major title in over 2 decades, before she has now switched sides to join the Brighton and Hove Albion in the Women's Super League. That's in the English football right there. And away from the story, moving on to other sports on the show this morning, it's been said that Nigerian streamer team will begin their medal quest at the 2025 World Sambo Championship in Kazakhstan from today. Representing Nigeria, Fatai Balogun, Samuel Kikere, and Sadiq Ajibade competing in the combat and blind sambo categories. Balogun will be competing in the men's 88 kilogram combat sambo, while Kikere will made history in 2024 as the first African to compete in blind sambo at the World Championship. He returns to the global stage in the men's 64 kilogram blind sambo. Ajibade was also making his debut. Will be representing Nigeria in the 98 kilogram blind sambo, aiming for a podium finish. Expressing excitement ahead of the second outing, Kekere, who praised Federation International de Sambo for his support and commended Sharif Ahmed, who is the Vice President and General Secretary of the Sambo Association of Nigeria, for his instrumental role in facilitating the team's participation at the tournament, which is due to start right there later today. And away from that, still taking more stories coming through from the home front on the show today, bringing you updates as regards Nigerian players who are playing their trade outside of the shores of the country, and also some amazing stories that have to do with sport on the home front. Before we go back into football talks on the show this morning, there's a bit of talks as regards other sport, and also coming through from the National Sports Commission, in the words of the chairman of the National Sports Commission, that's talking about Malam Shehu Diko. He has emphasized the strategic role of sport as a catalyst for youth empowerment, job creation, national unity, deepening security, and international collaboration, while reaffirming ongoing efforts to build a globally competitive and sustainable sports ecosystem for Nigeria under the current regime. Speaking at the inaugural CNN Global Perspective, which focused on Africa, right there in London, he joined regional leaders, global investors, and policy influencers, talking about leadership. Right there. Of course, it is one thing to know that these are the things that can be achieved with this sport, but what are the things that the sport commissioner also looking to put in place in lieu of that. Away from that story right now, let's take thoughts coming through from the Nigerian Premier Football League match week 11 encounter. Like I mentioned, 2 matches have definitely been played already. I'll be seeing other games come up later today, and also some games will be played tomorrow right there in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Quickly taking a look at what it looks like ahead of the match week 11 fixtures in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Katsina United tomorrow will be up against Barau FC, while we also have Nasarawa United up against Kwara United, Wike Tourists will be up against Niger Tornadoes, Abia Warriors will be hosting Eyimba, Warriors will be hosting Ikorodu City, Enugu Rangers will be up against Shooting Stars, Kano Pillars will be hosting Bayelsa United, Kon Khalifa will be up against Rivers United, Remo Stars on Monday will be hosting El Kanemi Warriors. Same thing with Plateau United also hosting Bendel Insurance on Monday. Remo Stars definitely having a couple of backlog of matches to be played right there in the NPFL, and hopefully if they get to make do with some of these matches, it's definitely going to be turning their season on the head. But right now, not too good, not familiar space where they find themselves right now, because they are just third away from bottom, currently sitting 17th on the log, 3 matches in hand. To be able to come up with maximum points to leave them out of that relegation zone. Let's assume they make up for the next 2 matches. They'll be moving up to the top half of the table, because they currently have 10 points from 9 matches played in the Nigerian Premier Football League. 18th on the table right now is Vendel Insurance with 9 points from 11 matches. Barawa FC and 19th with 9 points from 10 matches, and Kano Pillars currently are mining right there at the bottom of the log. Don't forget, they've been sanctioned with 3 points and 3 goals for infraction earlier this season. Top of the log is still Nasarawa United, who after losing 2 back-to-back matches have now won from the game yesterday against Remo Stars, and are now 22 points from 11 matches. Abia Warriors second on the log with 21 points from 11 matches, and Ikorodu City are currently third on the log with 18 points from 11 matches right there in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Away from the home front right now, let's take it straight to Europe. We'll start with thoughts coming through from other sports on the show this morning. Before we go back into the world of football, I will talk about matches to look forward to and actions for this weekend. In the WTA for today, Sabalenka rode past Kokugov to avenge her French Open final defeat and secure her place in the WTA finals last 4 alongside Jessica Pegula. Sabalenka, Gauff, and Pegula went into yesterday's matches in Riyadh, knowing only 2 of them would progress from the Stephanie Graf group. American Pegula won 6-2, 6-3 against already eliminated Yasmin Paulini, meaning a straight set win for defending champion. Gauff would have knocked world number 1 Sabalenka out. Gauff also had the statistical edge, having come out on top in their previous meeting at the Roland Garros in June, with Sabalenka putting in a performance she later described as the worst final she has ever played. Sabalenka was said to have been wayward at the start, but rallied to beat American 7-6, 6-2 and top the group with 100% record. She will now be playing against Amanda Anisimova later today in a repeat of September's US Open final, with the Belarusian. Sabalenka won, while Pegula will be taking on Elena Rybakina later today as well. French Open champion Kokugov did not do too much in the opening set, but Sabalenka excels in tiebreak, having won 22 of the 24 breakers she has played this year. Still in the world of tennis on the show this morning, bringing you updates coming through just as preparing for a new season in the world of tennis, because tennis right now, we're already looking forward to the 2026 season. In the ATP, Britain's Cameron Norrie was taking off 3 sets for the 3rd successive match before reaching the Moselle Open semi-finals as he bids for a 4th title since 2023. Cameron Norrie beats lucky loser Kieran Jacquet 4-6, 7-6, 6-4 for his 3rd victory over a Frenchman this week. At the world number 27, Norrie, only seeded player left in the draw, is into his first hardcore semi-final since Metz last year. The 30-year-old is bidding for his first ATP Tour title since the 2023 Rio Open, where he will be facing either Lorenzo Sonego for a place in the Saturday finals. Still more thoughts coming through from the world of tennis on the show this morning. Lorenzo Musetti is 2 wins away from a place at the last season ending ATP finals after reaching the Athens Open semi-finals. Italian world number 9 Musetti must win the title to take the 8th and final spot of the tournament. If he does not, Canada's Felix Auger-Aliassime will be taking up his place for that particular one. World number 5 Novak Djokovic, who also qualified for Turin, is the potential final opponent for Musetti, with Serbia's Djokovic reaching the 199th semi-final of his astonishing career with a 7-6, 6-4 win over Nino Borges of Portugal. The 38-year-old is aiming for his 2nd title of the year and a 1 overall title in his amazing and also illustrious career. Away from tennis talks on the show this morning, we're bringing you thoughts coming through from the world of Formula 1. Because tell me why we are into the final 4 races of the season in the world of Formula 1. And I tell you, all lens are definitely on the wheels right about now. Though it's going to be the Sao Paulo Grand Prix this weekend, one place where we'll be seeing the sprint race come into play again. And you know, when we have sprint races, it means that the drivers will also be able to garner points from the sprints before the practice, from the practice to the qualifying, from the qualifying then to the main race itself, an avenue for them to be able to garner maximum points, especially for drivers like Max Verstappen, who is looking to garner all of the important points that he can get together at this particular point in time. Talking about the Sao Paulo Grand Prix right there, Lewis Hamilton is saying that Formula One needs to address what he calls the lack of transparency and accountability of the race stewards. The 7-time champion comments refers to the last race in Mexico City, where Hamilton was among a number of drivers who felt stewards made errors. This particularly referred to the first corner after the start, where some drivers caught the chicane and were not then asked to surrender the positions gained or were penalized. Hamilton lost a place to Ferrari teammate Charles Leclerc in that incident. Was later penalized himself for not giving up an advantage he gained when leaving the track in a battle with Red Bull's Max Verstappen. He eventually finished 8th in that race, with Leclerc in 2nd and Verstappen 3rd right there. Hamilton is also making an oblique reference to the 2021 championship decided in Abu Dhabi, where he controversially lost out on the title to Verstappen as a result of former race director Michael Massey failing to apply the rules correctly during the late race safety car period. The FIA does not comment on stewards' decision, as they are meant to operate independently from the governing body, but the drivers definitely can have a say and can tell that something is not right at the point in time. Still looking forward to the Sao Paulo Grand Prix from this weekend. Lando Norris is also saying that improved consistency over the past couple of months has led to him to reclaim the World Championship lead. The Britain with 25 retook the lead from McLaren's teammate Oscar Piastri by 1 point after a dominant win at the Mexico City Grand Prix. Norris has been on an impressive run since early September and has now finished ahead of Australia in 5 straight races. Last week, he did the amazing by making sure that he has now gained 35 points on Piastri since the Dutch Grand Prix at the end of August, which Piastri won, while Norris retired with a fuel line failure. That result made Piastri a strong title favorite, especially in the context of his consistency through the season up to this particular point. And Norris is still 1 victory short of Piastri's tally of 6 this season so far. Hopefully, it's going to be a battle till the end for the 2 drivers right there. This weekend, Sao Paulo Grand Prix is the first of the run of the 4 races in 5 weekends that will bring the season to a close. Piastri goes into it after 2 difficult weekends at the US and also the Mexico City Grand Prix, where he struggled for a pace, and hopefully he's going to be doing amazing for himself this time around. But one man that all eyes are definitely on him right now has to be the Mad Max Verstappen. Of course, even the McLaren drivers are still facing a stiff threat from the Red Bulls Max Verstappen, who is 36 points off the lead after a strong run of results that have seen him win 3 times and take a 2nd and 3rd in the past 5 Grand Prix. That has now reduced the Dutchman's deficit to the leader from 104 points. Right now, the 4-time champion emphasized that he was still very much the underdog in the title fight. The only miracle that I am looking forward to see this season is if Max Verstappen will be overtaking either Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. Don't forget, at the time this season, the gap between them was over 104, and right now I can tell you it's not even up to 40 anymore, and anything can happen right there at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. It might just move up to 2nd by the end of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. But I tell you what, all lengths in glove. We're crossing the fingers and looking forward to what is going to happen right there. Away from the Fox, coming through from the world of Formula One right now. I'll be taking thoughts coming through from the world of football straight away on the show this morning. Don't forget, I sport in a jiffy, and I'm right here serving to you in a jiffy on the show this morning. Tiptoeing of the major stories that are currently making the rounds in the ever exciting, ever dynamic, and sometimes controversial world of sports. Matches in the English Championship later today, we'll be seeing Watford up against Bristol City, and in the Spanish La Liga, it's going to be Elche against Real Sociedad, whether Bremen will be up against Wolfsburg. Italian Serie A will be seeing Pisa up against Cremonese right there, and in the French Ligue 1 it's going to be Paris FC up against Rennes right there in the French Ligue 1. And for tomorrow, we'll be looking forward to the lunchtime football between Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United. One game that's always in the time pass serving to a lot of fans in its full glory, and maybe or maybe not it will be serving up to the expectation this time around. It's left to be seen, but Manchester United travel to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to play against Tottenham. Don't forget the outbreak of the Europa League final from last season. Everton will be hosting Fulham at the Dinkinson Stadium tomorrow. West Ham United will be at home when Burnley will be visiting them in that game, and Sunderland will be hosting the high-flying Arsenal, while Chelsea will also be hosting Wolverhampton Wanderers in that particular game. Straight into the Spanish Liga for tomorrow, we'll be seeing games right there between Girona and Alaves. Sevilla up against Osasuna. Atletico Madrid will be up against Levante. Espanyol will be up against Villarreal. Bayern Leverkusen will be hosting RDM. Hamburger in the German Bundesliga will be hosting Borussia Dortmund. Hoffenheim will be hosting RB Leipzig in the German Bundesliga. Union Berlin up against Bayern Munich, while Borussia Mönchengladbach will be up against Köln. Como will be up against Cagliari in Italian Serie A. Lecce will be up against Hellas Verona. Juventus will be up against Torino, while Parma will be up against AC Milan right there in the Italian Serie A. And the French Ligue 1, Olympique Marseille will be up against Brest. Le Havre will be up against Nantes. Monaco will be up against Arsenal right there in the French Ligue 1. And I mentioned to you a couple of matches in the Nigerian Premier Football League also be on the way tomorrow. Talk about Katsina United and Barau FC. Sports in a Jiffy on Empire Radio 102.1 FM. This is how much we're taking on the show for this morning. And many thanks to everyone who's been a part of the show. Sports Talk Show returns later tonight between 5 p.m. down to 6 p.m. and Sports in a Jiffy will serve it to you Mondays through to Fridays from 10 a.m. down to the flip side of 10 on your number one urban lifestyle station, Empire Radio 102.1 FM. AYODEJI AJIBOYE is signing out this morning. I always tell you to stay sporty, to stay active, to drink enough water, stay hydrated, to go out there and be the best version of yourself. And like I always say, just in case you step out this morning and you meet someone who does not have a smile on their face, I'm telling you right now, I'm beseeching you to give them a bit of yours. Yes, be the rainbow in someone else's dark cloud. Good morning to you and yours. Do have an amazing weekend.
From the greens of golf to the court of tennis and basketball, the octagon of UFC to the square room for boxing.